Hey, this is Oksana. Today I'm going to show you how to make this pendant. It is reversible in the sense that you can wear it right side up or you can wear it upside down because it has two bails, one on each end. So, and here's the back of it. So if you want to see how to make this pendant here, then just keep watching. So first you will need 6 pieces of, mine is square, you can use round, but it's 20 or 21 gauge wire. So mine is 21 gauge square wire. And the 6 pieces are about 11 inches for me. But what you want to do is you want to take your stone and measure it and times that by 10. So mine's just a little bit over an inch. So it ended up being about 11 when I multiplied that out. And it might be a little extra, but I would rather have extra wire. This is the wire that I'm using. It's from Rio Grande. You can see right there, it's a 21 gauge. And I just use raw copper because I like to oxidize. And then the next wire that you're gonna use, and sorry, this is all like squished up so you can barely see it, but it's 22 gauge half round wire. Now this wire you can just keep on the spool as you use it and then just cut it when you don't need it anymore. You don't need to pre-measure or pre-cut it. Now with half round wire, this is the rounded side and then this is the flat side, and you want the flat side to go up against your wires and the rounded side to be, you know, sticking up or just go facing you. So what you want to do with your 6 wires, and this part is slightly tricky. So first of all, find the middle. Your stone's going to be kind of in the middle, so I can't really hold this too far back, but for me, roughly this is the middle. So we're going to make 2 areas where we're going to wrap the half round wire around it. And the first is going to be here, kind of at the beginning of your stone. Then we're going to bend these wires around the stone and make another one. So what you want to do is you want to have 3 on top of 3. So kind of mess around with it. It can be a little tricky at first, but basically you want 3 wires, and this is slightly easier with square wire because with square wire, because there's a flat side, it'll kind of lie on the next wires, and the round wire will kind of roll around and it'll be harder. So then from this end, it's 2. So you kind of have a 2 by 3 little rectangle. All right, so hold that tight. You don't want that to fall apart. And then wrap. You can always unwrap this half round wire. So normally I don't like a super long one of these, you know, wrappings, but because we really want that to hold together, I would just go for a bit. What did I do here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So once it starts to feel secure, is what I'm trying to say. Once it starts to feel like it's really holding it, then you can kind of stop. So now I'm just using my pliers just to help squish that down a little, reinforce that hold on those wires there. And now what you're gonna do, since you have 3 and 3, is you're gonna separate them such that the bottom 3 wires and the top 3 wires come apart like this. See that? Now we're gonna take this little tail and we're gonna wrap it. So instead of going all the way around, it's going around just these 3 wires. Now it's going back and then towards us again. And if it's too little for you to hold, you can just use your pliers. And now it's going back this way. This is kind of just my way of finishing that little end and securing it. And now I'm going to trim it so that the end of it, I'll show you the end. It's kind of hard to see when I'm actually doing the trimming, but it's going to be inside of this little opening. See that? it's in there. So then I go to squish it down, and it doesn't stick out the back. It's too short for that. It's kind of in there. So here's what that looks like so far. And what you want to do now is here, because we're gonna trim off this wire. So you can either do this step that I'm gonna show you and then trim off the wire, or you can just leave yourself some wire, just a few inches like this, and then cut it. And then we'll do that little step later. It's up to you. But the step is gonna be just to take the very back 2 wires. I guess I'll just do it now. The very back 2 wires. So we're not opening it up this way, we're opening it up this way. And, ooh, I accidentally have 3 wires here. There we go, the very back 2. You can kind of see them better if you turn it this way. And we're just gonna wrap this around just a couple of times. This is gonna be the bail, if that kind of helps you picture it more. But the bail is not gonna have this half round wire wrapped around it for its entirety. It's just gonna have like 2 little wraps. So then trim it so that your little end, oops, mine is a little bit too long. Your little end is here facing you, because when we bend this into the bail, it's gonna kind of bend this way towards us, and so the little end will be here towards us instead of on this part. Anyways, so now going back to the opening that we made. So what you wanna do is you wanna lay your stone flat on your desk, and you are going to bend these wires around your stone. So if you need to open it up more, then go ahead and do that. But you're going to lay it down flat, and you're gonna bend the wires. This is hard to do in the air. I'm just doing it so you can kind of see it better, but you will be doing it on a flat surface. So you're going to be bending them all the way around. And then here, you can use your pliers if you need to, because we are going to need these wires to connect so that we can wrap around them like that. Okay, so now I can take my stone out, and now we should do, just like before, 3 on top of 3. So kind of mess around with them, line them up until you get that 3 on top of 3. And then take your half round wire again and go ahead and wrap around as many times as you need to so that it feels really secure to you. And then trim this, give yourself a couple inches and trim that. So just mention this real quick. If you wanted this little part here to be longer or shorter, you could have done that, but I obviously finished off my wire by doing this. But I think that this is probably a good length. You don't want it to be super long, this little part where they're being connected, so this one too. But if it's, 7 or so wraps, that should work out fine. Because basically, I'm gonna try and keep that part hidden, and that's why I don't want it to be super long. So now I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking this wire through here, making a wrap around just those 3 wires, and now I'm doing it around the other wires, and then I'm trimming it very short, so then I can kind of squish it down and it just goes inside and you can't really see. The end of it doesn't stick out. And then I'm taking the back 2 wires, so make sure it's the same, it's on the same side as you did here, you know, so this is our back, because that's where I'm taking those back 2 wires from. And actually I grabbed 3 again, why do I always do that? So let me take a closer look. I think they got just a little bit twisted here. Okay. And I'm taking this little tail end and I'm wrapping it just a few times around. And then I'm trimming it so the little end of it is here in the very back, because it'll be bending this way and you won't see the little tail end. So I'm flipping it back to the front now. Here's what it looks like so far. What you want to do now is put your stone in. So go ahead and just pop it into the frame. And on the back, you can just bend. And if you wanted to bend them prior to putting your stone in, you could have done that as well. You could have just bend these, the very backmost wire here. I'm just bending it with my finger to block the stone from coming out the back. Okay. And then here on the front, so that the stone does not pop out the front, what you want to do is just kind of bring this wire forward a little bit so you can grab it with your pliers, and then put your pliers in there and bring them all the way down and make a bend like that. And you want to do that on all 4 parts. So on each side, on the bottom, both sides, on the top, both sides. Basically, this is just going to keep your stone from popping out the front. See, like that? And this is actually, if we didn't do this separation here for the bail, this could have been like maybe a cuff bracelet if you used really thick, sturdy wires, and then you could bend it into a cuff and then finish off the ends somehow. Just another idea. So now that our stone is in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bend these 2 and 2, the bail wires. I'm going to kind of bend them out of the way. And I'm actually going to go ahead and make my bail now. So what I want to do is I want to bend it almost just straight back like this, so that it doesn't go, you know, high up. So it kind of stays as low as possible like this. Okay. And I'm going to do one of these first and then I'll do the other one. So I'm going to separate these wires a little bit. So I'm going to press on them here with my thumb so that they don't separate all the way up. I'm going to press on them so that, you'll see in a second, so that they, you know, they stay together. Here's my bail here, going down, 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 staying together, and then it separates. Now I'm going to cut and leave myself a little bit, just enough to make a loop. And then I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to take those little ends, and what you can do if this is becoming difficult is you can raise up these wires here on the back that are keeping our stone in, so that you can tuck these little ends under. And then once you tuck it under, sorry, I'm just trying to hold it in the best way to for you to be able to see. Once you tuck it under, you can take that wire end here, pick it up a little bit with your pliers and make a loop such that the end of your wire goes down, pointing in towards the stone, so that it won't, you know, it'll be hidden and it won't scratch. See what I did there? The end is hidden, it just made like a little loop. So then the same thing here. And we're going to do the same exact thing on the other side. So this is bale number 1, and this is going to be bale number 2. And because we're going to be tucking some of these other wires kind of through here, this bale is going to end up being relatively small. So if you have a really large clasp that you need to fit through your bale, keep in mind it'll be smaller. So if you need to make it like extra large, you know, something like this. See how it's larger on this end? Because I stuck my round nose pliers through here when I bent it to make like a really big loop. So you can do that if you need to make it a little larger, but I'm just going to quickly do the same exact thing here on this end. And you just want to make sure when you are making these loops that they're nice and tight so that they can't slide up and down. And it doesn't, you know, discombobulate your bale by having them slide up and down. So now you should have 4 wires on one side and 4 wires on the other side. So what we're going to do now with the 4 wires that we have on each end here is they are going to make kind of like, they're going to go this way and make a loop, and then they're going to go on this edge. So these are going to go whoop this way, and then these are going to make a loop and then go this way. And you can use them exactly as they are right now, or you can add some fanciness to your pendant by twisting the square wire or by wrapping around these with your half round wire. So what I'm going to do, since I have 4, is I'm going to have one that I'm going to leave plain, one that I'm going to twist. So to twist the square wire is I'm just going to do it, I think the order that I'm going to do it in is I'm going to do this one twisted, the next one plain, then I'm going to wrap around this one with a 26 gauge wire, round wire, and then I'm going to wrap around the last one with the same half round wire that I used. So that's kind of the order. And to twist, you just grab the square wire and you just twist and it starts to kind of make a little twisted pattern, so that you're not watching me kind of wrap and wrap and wrap forever. I'm going to do that off camera, but that's what I'm going to do. And you can just do it however you want, but basically if you want to make them fancy and wrap things around them, at this point is when you would do it. And you're going to do it here, and then you're going to do it here as well. So I can start to just kind of bend these in that direction and these in that direction. And the way that I have them going is this is the very first wire on this end. So this wire here that's coming out the front, and then the second one is this next one. And then here from the front, this is my 3rd, and this is my 4th. And if yours are not exactly like that, that's fine. Just kind of go with the flow of your wires and whatever looks best in terms of, you know, separating them out. So here's my little in progress. I thought I would check in. I did these first 3 so far just on the side. So now I'm getting ready to wrap the half round around this next one. And I just want to check in with you real quick about the length. So basically this is going to go kind of around, make like a little loop, and then go down the side. So you need it to be as long as that. Just kind of eyeball and estimate. If you do a little longer, that's okay. It's better to do longer to have it kind of reach. And then you can just, you know, leave the excess. So I will be right back. Just a quick note about wrapping the half round wire around. If you haven't done that before around a single wire, it's kind of easier to use one hand to guide the wire, so it's just laying down nicely, and use your other hand to twirl your wire, or in this case the whole pendant, around. That's much easier than to try to actually wrap the wire around. Alright, so congratulations, you're done with the most tedious part of this pendant. So now I'm going to go ahead and bend these. So you can do them all together if that's easier for you, or one at a time. I'm going to try and do all together, but if you're going to do that, then you need to kind of line them up nicely and tightly so that when you bend it, so I'm just making a loop, bringing them to this side. And when you make this loop, make sure there's a little bit of space. Don't make it like super tight up against it, because we're going to be tucking the other wires inside, okay? And now we're going up the side until we get to right here. And we bend these, and we're gonna cut them so that they can be tucked inside. So probably like this much. And I'm tucking them. You can kind of do probably one at a time now. So I'm just bending them so that they go through the bail, just inside of the bail. So you want to bend them this way. And if you want to undo some of the weave, like on the very end, if that makes it easier, because sometimes it'll start slipping off if you cut it right up against it. So now you can see them coming through here. And so what I can do now is have them go all the way around. See how that one is coming all the way around? And I'm gonna close that up like a little loop. Yeah, so I'm just removing a little bit of that weave there. It's starting to slip off of the wire. So that's why I said your bail is going to get a little smaller, because these wires have to go through it. So here's my little ends, and I just want to pinch them down so that they're kind of hidden behind this. You know what I mean? This way. And just kind of downwards. Like this. Now they're kind of hidden, the ends are not sticking out, the ends are kind of going that way. So here's this little edge. So now, this part is slightly trickier because here we were able to just bend these ends. Here we're gonna have to tuck them in through this gap. All right, so line them up however the order that you want them. And then go ahead and make your bend. And then once you start getting close, you probably want to cut them, at least somewhat, because tucking them through is easier when they're shorter. So I'm gonna go ahead and just unwrap a little bit of this one. Because it's easier to work with just a normal wire end rather than having this little weaving wire go all the way up. So I'm just trying to pinch that little weaving wire down so it won't ride up. All right, so let me get them back in their order. And now I am tucking them through that hole right there, just like this. And once you've done that, you can bend them. Now they'll kind of stay a little bit. Bend them back. I'm just going to mess around with them just the tiniest bit here. All right. You can kind of move things around. Like if the wires are not laying like tightly up against each other, now's when you can change that before you kind of lock them in, since we're gonna wrap and lock them in. So once you're happy with all of that, we're coming back here. We're grabbing these wires and we're going to be putting them through the bail. They're kind of long still, even though I had cut them. Just going to cut them some more. So I'm gonna, and now I'm just doing the same thing that I did on the other side. I am tucking them through that bail, and once they're here on the other side, I'm just taking them and making it so that the end is kind of in there facing that way. So I'm hiding the wire ends. All right, so now we are done. All the little ends are tucked in, wrapped around. Here's what it looks like from the side and the back. Here you can kind of see our bail. This one's a little bigger than this one, but you can kind of stick your round nose pliers through there to raise it up a little bit if you need to. If you have a clasp that needs to fit through there. I'm just gonna fix this a little bit. There we go. So here's what it looks like from the front. And it is double-sided because it has the two bails, so you can wear it this way or this way. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.